Oh, hey everybody. It's been a little while since I did one of these videos and figured I'd do one related to the new update to the test. The current version of the exam will be retired on July 25th, 21. So that's a Friday. So anybody registering for or taking the test after, as it says here, effective July 26, 2021, the RICA examination will be administered as three separate subtests. Registration for test appointments on or after July 26, 2021 is now open. And we'll take a look at the new RICA design in a moment. I just wanted to mention that they've also said that you can do remote testing from home beginning August 16th. So that's an interesting option. I don't know what that entails. I'm more interested in this right here, which is the new design of this thing. So let's take a look at that together if we could. And it is now a test that is broken up into three separate subtests. So let's take a look at subtest number one. Subtest number one is going to address word analysis and fluency. Typically, word analysis means things related to the foundations of reading, like decoding, spelling, word analysis, and things of that nature. And you're going to be tested with multiple choice questions, 27 items on word analysis and 8 items on fluency. And you'll have 2 constructed responses to write. And these will be typically one's a lesson plan, it looks like to me right here, where you're going to have to write an analysis, provide examples, and write close to 300 words on how you would address whatever issue the child is having. It's very helpful if you read over the domains and content area specifications, and you can find that in a PDF on their site. I'll begin going over those in future videos one at a time, and focusing mainly on the most important areas. Fluency, the domain 3 question, this looks like it's one of their short answers where you simply will describe very quickly perhaps what a teacher is doing to develop fluency, or to describe the importance of fluency and things of that nature. Looking at their sample exams, the one on the RICA site is very helpful, and I have videos on this too. So you get a lesson plan and a short answer question, as you see right here. Oh, and the total number of multiple choice will be 35. Total number of essays are 2, and 75 minutes to complete subtest 1. And now you should begin thinking about, well, should I register for all the subtests or do them one at a time? And I have to tell you, I'm going to leave that up to you. You know you better than I do, and I don't want to mess anybody up. So if you're typically strong on these kinds of tests, like with CBEST, or if you did CSET, you'll get a pretty clear indication of how things went on those tests. Knowing the content is particularly important on this one. But factor in your number of times you had to take the written portion of CBEST, for example, and the multiple choice on reading and not so much math. But those should give you an indication of what's going on. The second subtest, this deals with vocabulary and academic language, and this test has focuses on 19 multiple choice questions that are going to be on vocabulary, academic, and background knowledge. You'll get one short response between 75 and 125 words. Again, maybe explaining how a teacher's lesson is addressing student needs in these areas, or maybe something related to fostering academic language for English learners, for example. And then you get comprehension, the domain 5, where you'll have 16 questions related to comprehension and one lesson plan on comprehension. So you'll see a child who has difficulty with comprehending narrative text or expository text or something like that, and have to write out a well-exampled and well-supported lesson plan with benefits and so forth. And I have videos on that. And again, the total number of multiple choice questions is 35, and you get 2 constructed responses. 75 minutes, they say, for this subtest, and that means that you get 75 minutes to complete it. And I guess if it's hard for me to tell you what the structure is going to be like. If you register for all 3 of these things, do you get to pick the order? Can you pause and go back and forth? I'm not sure. You'll need to find out, as well as I'll be learning right along with you when they actually produce the finer and more granular details of this test. But they're, I'm sure, working on that right now. Now, just up to this point, the number of essays for word analysis and fluency, that hasn't changed. There was always going to be 2 lesson plans and 2 short questions. The case studies next, that's always the case, but look, it looks like they've increased the number of multiple choice questions. 35 and 35 adds up to 70, and that is the number of questions that, multiple choice questions that used to be there. Now, if I move down to here, planning, organizing, and managing reading instruction based on ongoing assessment, that's domain 1. They're handing you 25 more questions. Now, if I do my addition here, that looks like it's 95 questions. And so they've gone up from 70 questions to 95 questions. And as I described to you in those videos, earlier videos, they throw out 10 questions, or they used to throw out 10 questions. And I'm sure they're throwing out at least 10 questions here. And so only 60 would count when they offered you 70 items. Now that it's 95, I don't know how many they're throwing out. It's going to be at least 10. So they've upped the amount of time, they've upped the number of multiple choice questions. But if we look here at the number of minutes, 90 minutes plus hour and a half here, and you combine these 2 at an hour and a half there. Excuse me, my math was off. This is an hour and 15 and an hour and 15. So we get 2.5 hours, plus this is 4 hours. So it's the same amount of time, 4 hours, but they expect you to do the same number of essays, but 25 additional multiple choice questions. Okay, so, you know, that's just the reality of where we're at, and that would influence how I do this this test. Look, as I told you, you have to do what is best for you. I really cannot tell you what to do here. This is new. I will say that we're all going to go through this together. Sheesh, I'm even having trouble getting the words out. But if it were me, and it's not, I would base my decision on a number of things. First of all, can I do these out of order? That's the first question I would have. And if so, then I would register definitely for Subtest 3 and 1 and 2, but I would start with Subtest 3. That's where I would begin, because I want to get this thing out of the way first, right here. That is the most important one, in my opinion, because the case study counts the most, and you can't get away from it. After that, depending on whether or not you get to jump around in here, and I don't know if you do. If they're allotting 90 minutes for Subtest 3, once you start it, you're probably locked in, but I don't know. I don't know. The next test, one that I would do, and this is just based purely on my strengths and so forth, I would probably do this one next, the vocabulary and the comprehension domain, for the simple reason that there might be a little bit more reading in here on comprehension questions, and I'm going to be kind of fresh coming out of the case study still, and that way I can read and consider the questions more carefully, and then I would do this one last. But note that, it's the same number of essays, but an increased number of multiple choice questions. And that, to me, seems typical of them. It's just typical of them. And that's all I can say. I don't want to be discouraging or anything. And there's no reason to be discouraged. It's just it's a change, and that's it. You, however, might want to do things in a different way. Maybe what you'll want to do is only do Subtest 3, the case study, and then book a session where you do these two by themselves, knowing that you got 2.5 hours to work on those. And again, I don't know if that means you're locked in and you're stuck, but that might be the case. And scratch paper, I don't know if they give it to you, or note paper on the computer, but if they do, taking notes from the case study that you have after you've finished it, presumably, that you can bring to the other areas, like just keeping a record of notes would be very good. I think keeping track of your time is essential on here, meaning that you know how to outline the case study quickly, and then maybe do the multiple choice questions, or outline the case study and survey the data that you're given. Then do the multiple choice questions to see if anything can help you in the case study, and import that, and then finish the multiple choice. Just be judicious with your time, because any questions that you cannot figure out, that seem to have two answers, or are just too hard for you to do, don't be afraid to guess. That's always been the case. There's no penalty for guessing. And my guess is that some of the questions that seem like they have two answers are the ones maybe they're trying out. It's impossible to say. And I don't know how many they're throwing out. They did that on the old test. They do that on CSET. And so there's no reason to think that they won't do it here. Same story on these questions. Maybe do your outlining unless you know the answer, and then just knock it out. Don't wait. And then do the multiple choice questions, and then go in and fill in questions that, or sections of here, if you can improve them, if they allow you to do that. I don't know if you finish an essay, they make you submit it at that time, or what. You'll be finding out, and so will I. But those types of strategies will work. And again, I would guess on any questions that you just can't get, no matter how much time you have, because some of them, again, might be the ones they're throwing out. But, that's a last resort. Do the easy ones first, the 50-50s next, and then the last ones that are impossible, save those for last, and don't be afraid to guess. And it's the same story here, Start with the essays if you can, outline, do them if you know them, do these multiple choice questions, and import into that area, or into these essays to bolster them if you need to. And that's how I would do things on here. Now, if I were of unlimited wealth, I would do the whole thing at once, for sure. Why not? You might actually pass, and you'll get an indication maybe of where your strengths and your weaknesses are. But again, I would do the case study first, and then my other strongest area, and because you want to get as much of this out of the way as you can, because you pass one subtest at a time, or all at once, right? If that is not your situation, and you're only moderately financed at this point, then consider doing maybe one subtest at a time, depending on your time frame too. That's going to play a role in this. I definitely think doing the case study first and getting that out of the way is the most prudent thing. But doing and registering for 2 of these things, I think is a good idea. Especially if you get really good at the case study. The faster you're able to write that, maybe watching the videos and getting really familiar with the content that's covered through the other videos, you might be able to knock that thing out right away. And the more time you save anywhere on one subtest, you're going to be fresher for doing the other one. I don't think you get to roll over your minutes. This isn't a smartphone plan, whatever. I don't think you get to roll over the minutes. But again, I don't know. I don't have the slightest idea yet, and I don't know if they do either. But Would recommend just doing, look, do what you know has worked for you in the past. Avoid doing what worked against you in the past, because I don't know how much is going to change. So if doing all subtests at once worked for you in the past, I would do that. If it didn't, then I would reconsider things. I would also look at my finances. Will the cost be the same? I don't know. I think that, I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. Well, that's all I have on this brief video on the test structure and what the changes will be. I will update this, of course, when more information becomes available. And please be sure that you take things into your own hands and go to the RICA site. I get there by just typing in. Well, you can just type in csetexams.nesinc.com and you can get there and find RICA under assessments or what have you. But keep updated and abreast of things yourself. Let me show you another important thing. I clicked on repair just now. Selecting a test, I'm going to go to our RICA test right here and just click go. Looks like I was already there for testing on or after this thing. Oh, look, they got new practice tests. Wowee. Well, hey, I got some work to do if anything has changed. But they do talk about, it looks like, good thing I clicked on that, on the content specifications. So the content specifications are detailed here, it looks like. And again, this is something that I think would be a good idea for you to read over to make sure that you're answering things the way that they want you to. And sorry if I'm making you seasick with all the scrolling, but that is something that I think would be worthwhile, is reading over these domains and content areas for sure. And let's see, it doesn't say that anything has changed as far as I know, but we'll see. I will take a look and we'll be finding out together. If let me drop that down and just, I don't know, you can hang up now if you want, but I just want to see what the constructed responses look like and see if anything has changed in that regard. Let's see. Fluency, a second grade teacher. Okay, yeah, that's slightly different, and they have a sample response for that and an evaluation of it. Here's that didn't change. I've seen that one before. I'll just show it to you. I've seen this one before. That didn't change much. Let's see what else there is in here. Not much. Okay, well, going back to their little page here, sample response 1, sample response 2. Well, I'm having a little degree of difficulty figuring out what's going on in here. Aha, not anymore. Let me see what this looks like. Sample constructed response, if that one is any different. It's been a while since I've done this, as you can see, so I'm a little rusty. But let's see what this has to say for itself, shall we? We have using your knowledge of reading fluency aspect. Yeah, this is the same question. Nothing's changed here. Oh, maybe this is the one that I already looked at. I don't know, because again, that looked the same to me. I must be going crazy. Sample assignment number 1. Let's see, English learners. That nothing's changed on that one. This is one that's been done a bunch of times before. Pam is at school, she plays a new game. I did a video on that one, I believe. And you can read through this and see what they have to say for themselves. And the case study, I'm betting dollars to donuts, is the same as it's always been. Yeah, it's Dear Isabel. She used to be named Katie, but now she's Isabel. And we go through and we see roughly the same thing. And I believe I did a video on this one. Oh, they're the Elmwood kids. Whoopee. So not much better than the old test, but let's see what's doing on the sample multiple choice test, shall we? Well, why not? Let me close these things here, and so I'm not as confused as I was. And let's see the sample 1, multiple choice, sample 2, sample 3. I'm going to go to sample 3 first. So these are the multiple choice questions. And this might, they have option C as correct in there. That might need a little explication. Maybe I could do that. And do the same for these. And there's 3, 4. Now they said there's going to be 25. And here there is only 8. Oh, how nice of them to only provide 8. Expand all answers. Let's try that and see what happens. Oh, option B is correct. Whoopee. Now they used to give us a whole test of 70 of these things, right? And it looks like, yeah, that's pretty much what they did, is 70 item sample test that they used to provide, even though they say that it's now up to 95. And yeah, that's very kind of them.